there's pros and cons to whatever guitar you want to pick up. And with cheap guitars, it just so happens that the cons are they need a little bit of attention before you get to playing them. But yeah, I mean, it's really nice when you get one and you can take it out of the box and it's ready to go, ready to play. And that was not the case with this one. It was not good to play out of the box, but I played it anyway. This guitar had issues with the fret ends a little bit. They're not so sharp that they cut your hands up when you're going up and down the neck. They're sharp enough to threaten to cut you. On one of the strings around the 5th fret, there's some buzzing. I set it up, as best as I could out of the box. So I'm pretty sure that is a fret level issue. So I'm probably going to have to dress the frets just a little bit. The strings on it, I think, were salvaged from antique shop guitars from maybe the 19th century. I'm pretty sure they were coated in substances that were more than capable of giving you tetanus as you play. So that's cool. The pickups are actually not bad. They're not bad. They're not as high output as I would like, but they're definitely acceptable. You can do a lot with these pickups. It smells like butt. It came out of the box smelling like butt. No, not butt. What is it? It's more like, it smells like sneeze. It smells like full-bodied, rancid sinus sneeze. You could not escape it. It filled the room. I'm pretty sure I need to call some type of, maybe a priest of some kind or a witch doctor or, somebody to come in and banish whatever entity has coated this guitar to make it smell so horribly. If you've had a dog, you know how they roll in dead things. But the weird thing is, this whole time I'm testing it out and playing it, I can't stop smelling it. I can't stop sniffing my hands like I think it's going to go away. I don't know what's wrong with me. There's something broken inside of my brain. Every time I smelled it again, it was like, my brain was like, oh, I wonder, oh yeah, rancid ass nasty sinus stink. It's mind-boggling. I think that might be part of the disease that this contagion, is. But the number of times that I do it, I don't even know. I'm ashamed. I am thoroughly ashamed of myself. I'll tell you what, we're going to count the number of times that I smell it on screen. We'll keep that count running for this video. There were some defects in the finish. Wiring's good. The 3-way switch was a little bit wobbly, but nothing that's too hard to fix. The neck string fastening is just a single scrub screw. I don't know if there's a ball bearing under there or a brass pad or something like that, but they tighten down fine and they do really well. I decided a great song to test this guitar on would be Soulbound by Unleash the Archers. It's another really awesome band. They do a lot of stuff in standard 7-string tuning. The experience was awful. The strings were so terrible, and the wood on the fretboard is not treated, so it was very scratchy. This is literally the cheapest 7-string headless multiscale guitar you can find on the internet. It's by IYV. They're a Vietnamese guitar company, and they actually have a decent track record. There's nothing like horribly wrong with them. They're just, Vietnamese made and shipped, and they're budget guitars. But they're decent. They get generally pretty good reviews. This guitar in particular wasn't cared for very well in the Amazon warehouse before it shipped, but it's not a bad guitar by any means. It just needs a little bit of attention, especially for the price point. Like, there is no way in hell you're going to find a 7-string headless multiscale guitar in this price range that is any better than this. I would challenge anybody to do it, and if you do, let me know, because I'll buy that one too. Looking at the paint job on it, I hate it. I hate it so much. Poor decisions with this paint job, just because of the shape of the guitar, the color choices they went with, very questionable. I would fire that person. Maybe not. I don't know. It depends on what their family life is like. I do have a heart. I might reprimand them, make them, stand in the lobby of the company in like a chicken suit or something. kind of bob around the lobby to everybody as they come into work and say, I pecked a very bad color or something stupid like that. Or I'm a bad egg. Yeah, I'll go with that. I'm a bad egg. That's what I would make them say. I might come around and berate them once in a while, just until they're like on the verge of tears. And then maybe I could see putting my hand on their shoulder and having a heart to heart with them and helping them understand that they've learned a very valuable lesson and that they should make better choices for the company moving forward. I just want what's best for the company, and I want them to be a part of that dream, and I care about them and their family, and I hope we can put this whole big mess behind us and move forward with a healthy team atmosphere here. But I digress. I'm currently refinishing the guitar. I've already sanded off the flat face of the body. Granted, I don't have like a professional workshop to do that kind of stuff in. I'm just kind of making do with what I got. I improvised a little paint booth out of a big Tupperware or a big a plastic tote, a big plastic tote. And I taped it up the best that I could, and I inhaled a lot of those paint fumes. That's why my voice is cracking right now. But the cancer that I've put in me already is going to do what it's going to do, and I can only try to do better moving forward. I didn't think a mask would be necessary with the plastic tote, but it is. You still need to wear a mask, and so I learned that lesson. I did wear a mask when I was sanding the finish off of it originally. My lungs aren't doing too well. I've been wheezing a lot and coughing a lot, and I can feel something rattling around in there. When I inhale, it kind of like rumbles, like it feels kind of like gravel. But I'm sure it's nothing. I'm sure it's fine. I'll just, I'll work it off. I've been walking every day and adding runs back into my exercise routine and stuff. So I'm sure I'll expel it before long, one way or another, or it'll absorb into my blood. What were we doing? Oh, guitar review. Right. We're talking about this guitar. It's gonna need some touching up around the nut. There's a little bit of extra wood poking out. It's got a 0 fret. The tuners on the bridge area are actually not bad. They're the same kind of tuners that I had on the Ibanez QX52 or QX54 that I had. I actually really like them. The output jack is in the worst place. I play with the guitar over my left leg most of the time when I'm practicing in the studio or at home or recording, and the output jack is placed such that it kind of drives right into my inner thigh and seals off my femoral artery and creates blood clots in my leg. If you could be any animal, what do you think you would be? That's a really hard question to answer for me. I think it would be really cool to be like a Bigfoot, like a Sasquatch. Yeah, you have the knowledge that like millions of people out there love you despite never even meeting you. They don't know anything about you, but you have that love and that admiration and stuff. You keep to yourself. You spend time in nature, like eat berries and poop in the grass and stuff, and like chill in hot springs or like swim in the river or whatever. Like I'm not really sure what Bigfoot gets up to. Maybe we have him all wrong. Maybe we don't see him because he's part of like some type of underground woodland cult. They perform sick rituals and stuff. What if there's a lot of people that have gone missing around like cave systems and hiking trails and stuff. Like what if that's the Bigfoot cult? Just food for thought. Oh, being a frog could be cool. And being a frog sounds cool until you're like, you can't ever embrace another frog knowing that your bodily poison and stuff would make them drop dead. Does that work on other frogs? Can they poison? I don't know. It would make sense if that didn't happen that way. Don't they have eggs that like pop out of their back and stuff? That sounds really painful. I mean, just giving birth in general sounds really painful. I'm a dude, so I don't have to go through that, and for that I'm very grateful. I wouldn't trade that. It seems really bad, and it seems like it'd be much worse if they popped out of your back. Now, I think even some guy frogs, like the eggs pop out of their back. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure there are guy frogs that reproduce asexually or something, or like it's reversed or something, and the eggs pop out of their back. Either way, it just seems really bad. It seems like it'd be hard to keep that from getting infected. Like, how do you fight infection from your egg holes? And you live in a swamp. You live in the literal mud and dirt. And there's like insects and stuff that would love to lay their eggs in your egg holes, or like live in your egg holes. Like, just knowing that you would have egg holes at some point. Like, are frogs born knowing that at some point they're gonna have egg holes on their back? That's terrifying. Who would want to be a frog? I mean, I don't know. They are cute though. They're super cute. They're cool. They got cool little personalities and stuff. They hop around. They got that derpy face. Like, that would, if you want to be a frog, that's definitely what I would call a calculated decision. You got a lot of cons to weigh. I wouldn't do it lightly. If you ever get the opportunity and you want to choose frog, just think really, really hard on it before you make that choice. So here, like, this is me showing off the reason why I hate this paint job. So imagine you're playing a show and you're standing up and this guitar is down by your waist. Do you see where I'm going with this? The decision to paint it like this it's kind of a flesh tone, and with the rounded bottom and the headless neck, and it just looks like it needs to be censored. We'll put it that way. This is a horrible decision. That person is definitely a bad egg. Where that IYV logo is, I'm pretty sure that's where I'm going to put the Triforce. That's what I'm thinking right now. I am a nerd. I'm a big, like, huge geek nerd. I'm into, like, video games and science and books and stuff. I like many various minerals. I like to see how things work. I'm fascinated by, standard, like, primate communication devices. And I say device in the sense of techniques that they use, skills, not in the term of like technologies. Although primates do have technologies. I don't know if you knew that, but now you do. I like the Alien series. I'm a huge Star Wars guy. Big General Grievous fan, even though I'm not huge into like the prequels. I do like birds. I like looking at birds. I like talking to birds. I like feeding birds. Generally animals in general, I'm pretty happy with. I enjoy nature. I also enjoy doing math. Math makes me happy. I get like a dopaminergic response from solving a problem using math. I'm not as good at it as I could be, but it is something that I enjoy. I enjoy learning new things. I've droned on long enough about my interest. I'm interested in cheese. I like cheeses. There's a whole lot here that made it difficult to practice and play through this song, because it's mainly the feeling of the strings. I'm a very like synth-based person, very touch-based person. There are things that when I feel them, they make me want to vacate my skin, and these strings were giving me that feeling. It's the same thing like it's always been with like chalk on a chalkboard. I got in a lot of trouble in school. We still used chalkboards when I was in like elementary and a little bit of middle school, and my teachers would make me write stuff on the board with that chalk, and it just like drove me insane. And so I got in a lot of trouble for that, because I would act out and throw the chalk down and punch the wall and kick desks over and scream and like break stuff, and my head would spin 360 degrees. I'd vomit. I would kind of levitate a few feet into the air, and my voice would change, and it would be joined by the sound of other voices, and the teachers just didn't like that very much. I got a lot of detention. I'll be really lucky if my initial exposure to this guitar didn't make me sick in some horrific way. Speaking of sick, do not get the chicken from Walmart. That's what I had for lunch today. And I don't think it's supposed to be radioactive like those shrimp were, but the experience that I had earlier today may cast a shadow of doubt on that. So it's probably just best to avoid the Walmart chicken. I'm going to buy it again. I'm going to eat it again. It's cheap. Rotisserie chicken is delicious. So I'm not deterred. Deterred is in the toilet. So I will get that chicken again. It is delicious despite how it makes me feel. So not necessarily smart, but you weigh the pros and the cons. You look at the payoff, you look at the risk, you determine, is this a decision for me? Right? That's a calculated decision. I make those decisions. So yeah, I'm desperate at this point. This is me trying everything that I can with what I have in my immediate vicinity. There was some foam on my desk from another product sitting nearby. And I thought that would press into the strings and physically envelop them to a degree with some firmness, and it's kind of a porous material. So I'll just sweep up and down the strings with this foam, and maybe that will take some of the rust and the awful evil off of the strings. The foam got a little bit dirtier. Now the foam is evil, and I don't want to touch the foam, but the strings remained the same level, general level of evil that they were before. So to the untrained eye, I can see how someone would mistake what I'm doing here for a caress or an intimate stroking of the guitar. I assure you, this is not the case. This is just my mind wandering to that tactile sensation of the finish on the body and feeling some bumps and stuff. And that's all I really, want to say about that. Get your mind out of the gutter. What are you doing with your life? If that's what you thought when you saw me doing this, then, I'm not the depraved one. You are. You're depraved. You should lock yourself away and you should punish yourself. No, I'm just kidding. Love yourself. Don't be too ashamed. We all have our things. So you're depraved. So you're a little depraved. What's so bad about that? You live and you learn. You're going to grow old, and you're going to be old. You're going to be very old one day. Like the tide, in the ocean. In your life, depravity will roll in and it will roll out. But you don't have to feel too ashamed just because your mind is in a sick, filth-ridden gutter. That's okay. It's okay. You're not a bad person. There's nothing, inherently wrong with you. You're not a monster. I accept you. And you deserve to be accepted and loved. I don't want anyone listening to this to feel horrible about themselves, and I just want you to understand, do better, just do better. There's a lot of moments here where I really need to rub my eye, like I want to rub my eye. I have like a compulsion to rub my eye, but I don't want to do it with my fingers because they've been touching this guitar. And as far as I know, this guitar was passed around some den of manure and villainy and skullduggery, and it feels terrible, and my fingers are coated in every bit of disgusting substance that could be lingering on this guitar. So I really don't want to touch my eyes because I don't want to go blind. I don't want this guitar to take my sight away. That's why I'm using my shirt like that. I hope you've enjoyed the video. May your travels be light, pleasurable. May your riches be abundant. May your joy be abundant. And may you live a life as carefree as a Bigfoot, as resplendent as a Sasquatch. But not the culty Sasquatches. Not the kidnappy Bigfoots. May you, should you choose to be a frog, not have egg holes in your back. May your guitars not be covered in sneeze and probably strange body juices and tetanus. May the force be with you. May you find inner peace. May you feel content without the allure of depraved thoughts. May you like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications for this channel and come back for more. May you bring great honor upon the companies that you work for and not shame. May you not be a bad egg. May you sponsor me. Send me many musical toys for which to play and comment on. May you find love, the love of another frog that is compatible with your own poison, the love of a primate, if you're a primate, the love of minerals and various rocks and minerals. May you download Idle Obelisk Miner and join me in more interesting poops. May you eat Walmart chicken should you want to, because that is your choice and your right, knowing full well that it may do terrible things to your colon and digestive tract and your workplace restroom. May you not become irradiated from shrimp. I wish you all these things and much more, and I look forward to having more content for you in the future and showing you what becomes of this guitar, unless I fail horribly, and then I will not show it. Or maybe I will. That would be a calculated decision.